And get back to the players.
Your mic is really flipping out.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Robot Devin.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's. I think both of your microphones are on again, Devin.
You got some cool reverb.
Yeah, I think both your mics are on again.
All right. Let me. I'll play with some things.
Cool. So then the sniper battle happens,
Yeah.
and Devin is unable to talk, so he just dies. He just gets shot right in the head.
Well, if it's a sniper battle and he's unable to talk, doesn't he get stealth bonuses?
Yeah, sure. Anyway, welcome back, everyone. Let's go
Did I
into
do
it.
anything?
So, yes, you're good now, I think.
Okay.
Was it using both microphones again?
I don't know. I just opened up my options, clicked on the other microphone, and then clicked on the microphone I'm supposed to be using, and said okay. Like, not that it didn't change any settings, but
Fantastic.
yeah.
So,
Hooray, Max.
what did you guys decide to buy?
Or I guess Fortune, on the other hand, would like to purchase a set of binoculars.
Yep, totally fine.
Up on the higher end though, not like it says 20 to 200. So
Yeah, the TL4 binoculars.
yeah, that's the ones I want.
Yep.
And then also I would like one of the survey equipment things that I was
Yep.
looking
Absolutely.
at. Yep, survey scanner.
Yep,
Um,
totally fine.
I would also like a tent just in case,
Just in case.
because you never know. Maybe they don't want us staying in their buildings because we're coming from the other place, and then I'll have to go live in the woods.
Anything's
It's very possible.
And a water filter for the same reason. Especially since you said that the general population pays for the choices of the government. It sounds like North Korea, where maybe you're not getting the cleanest of things. So I want clean water, so a water filter.
Yeah. So you're just stocking up on all the survival gear. I think all that's fine. Yeah, you can totally get all that.
Okay, cool.
Anybody else have any shopping things that they do?
I'm getting a survival kit and a nav comp.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Would so I have a question. Would Boomer already have the capacity to collect the information that we need, or would we need like a separate survey scanner for this mission?
So yeah, so I think that if you're trying to scan the planet, first of all, if you're trying to gather the information yourself instead of, like, let's say, steal it from somewhere, then yes, you would need additional equipment to do so. And you would probably be accosted if you used your ship to scan things. Like, that probably wouldn't be okay. Because, you know,
Presumably,
ostensibly,
yeah.
you could, I mean, you could assume you're going to be monitored basically from the time you enter, or actually, you could assume that you've been monitored from the time you enter into space, like into orbit, to the time that you leave orbit. Just
Sure.
depending on where you're at, monitored by whom, right? Like, one side or the other.
Okay. So is our plan to then steal this, or
Well,
should
I think that based on, like, having a nav comp and having like the survey scanner, and I'm not sure if there's really anything else that you need.
do we? But wait, did anyone buy a survey scanner?
he
That's
just-
what I'm asking.
Devin
Yeah,
just said he bought it
Okay,
10 seconds ago.
I didn't.
Fortune.
Fortune, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't catch that. That's why I was asking for clarification.
That's why we were confused on your question in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Let's move on.
Keep
Sorry.
drinking that tea, Matt.
Yeah, what's in that tea, man?
It's the good stuff.
Grease, lots of grease.
Yeah.
I'm drinking apple flavored whiskey. So
That's delicious.
it is.
Yeah, no, he totally got the survey scanner, and and he got a water purifier, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You with the nav comp and the survey scanner, you guys can totally take topographical information yourself.
Great.
While also being discreet, instead of just like sending a tight range beam scan of like the entire hemisphere, right? Or like at least around cities, like major cities, because that will obviously be picked up by the authorities and probably not end well for you guys.
Right. Okay. So Oscar only has one thing that he is looking for, and you let me know if they have this.
Sure.
It is TL4, but he would be looking for a telekinetic generator.
On this planet, no. I don't think you'd have access to
Oscar has nothing to purchase.
telekinetic generator.
Okay.
There are, like, they exist, they're known to people, but this planet doesn't necessarily put a lot of weight into the psychic abilities, and or like there's probably an academy here, but it's not a big or significant one that is going to be doing anything to produce that. Like, go to Raimondi. I bet you can find telekinetic generator somewhere.
Sure.
Right. But yeah, I don't think on this planet you'd be able to find one.
Or at least of all, find one here in the time that we have.
Sure, yeah.
Is maybe. Okay. Sure, that's fine.
I mean, you could just have Boomer build one eventually.
I think, you know what? I take it back. I want to buy a non-Westwind owned compad.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And I
Get on that bandwagon.
Yeah, I perhaps relay that to the rest of the crew if they haven't thought about.
Yeah, I actually was
discretion.
gonna get that, and Gogo wants a med kit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, just saying.
As many med kits or last patches
All the
you
med
want,
kits,
you can,
every
you can
med
totally
kit.
purchase. Yep, no problem.
Yeah, I just wanted a
How much are
compad
the
for
compads
myself
again?
and a med kit.
Compads are 100 credits.
Yeah, that's being purchased.
Yeah.
Get on my bandwagon. Isn't it great?
Does GoGo have tech medical?
No.
Okay.
Can
'Cause
I?
I was
So
gonna
does that
s-
mean
yeah.
I can't use half of the stuff that's in it? Should I just
no,
get
you
like
can.
Lazarus patches or what?
You can totally use it. You're just at a -1 when you make a check with it.
Yeah,
but-
but I don't think anybody else in here is either. So
I
unless
beg to
I'm
differ.
wrong.
I'm fairly certain
I
Boomer
beg to
has a
differ.
0 on it.
Okay. Well then,
Yeah, Boomer is
someone
trained
else
in
should have a med kit. I didn't realize that.
Sure.
No, it's just
No,
a -1. Like you're still capable of using it, but it'd be like you today opening up like an EMT bag, right? Like you might know what the things in it are and what they're designed for, but have you ever started an IV before, or
Doesn't the
The
med
proper-
kit give you a
the
bonus
proper
to rolls
application of
also?
one.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
because
med
that's
kit,
+1.
That's what it does.
It-
Is it gives you the bonus to rolls.
yeah, in and of itself, it's like, okay, well, you can wing it. It'll give you a little help because you have the proper tools. So even like, GoGo, even though she's not trained, if she has a med kit, she will be rolling
Right.
without any penalty.
Yeah, at least you have the bandages available. It's not like you're trying
So-
to tech medical a leaf onto a wound or something.
You
Got
know
it.
what? I think I would probably. How much are las patches?
Last
20.
patches
50.
are 50, I think.
No, it says 30. I'm looking at.
Oh, 30, yeah.
30.
30 apiece.
Yeah. So Oscar would take 2 las patches.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely.
How big are the Lazarus patches?
They're tiny. It's literally like a maybe like the size of a CPU.
I would like to buy 10 of them.
10? Sure.
10
why
of
not?
it? Sure.
Hey,
can those
didn't they
be-
keep you alive?
They are technically, just so you know, they are technically encumbrance 1.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if we could
Well,
bundle those similar
I-
to like
I do
power
have-
cells.
I do have a backpack though.
It does not say that I can, so unfortunately I'm going to have to rule no.
Sure.
But encumbrance only means that it's readily available, right?
You have a maximum of encumbrance. Like, you can only physically carry a number of items equal to your strength score.
So
Okay.
so how about this? You see Oscar buying 2 of them, and you walk over with a huge armful and just say, "Yeah, carry these 2." Because I currently only have like 1
Yeah,
encumbrance,
he's really
so
low
I can't
encumbrance.
carry all of this stuff. I know you guys have a bunch of other tools, so maybe you just load up Oscar with like a backpack full of medical supplies to
Well,
carry.
does the backpack change what you can carry at all?
So technically no via like what the rules say, but that's kind of dumb. So the backpack adds like the tech level 4 backpack. It counts as one of your readied items, which is equal to half. But you can essentially carry more. So what I would say for the backpack is it doesn't say this in here, but I'm going to make this rule. The backpack is not going to allow you to carry more than normal, because that would defeat the purpose of like it having an encumbrance at all. Like if it's 1 encumbrance, but you can carry 2 more items with it. I think the backpack protects your items that you carry.
Okay.
Right? So like I think that it might increase. How about this? It will increase your amount of readied items that you can have by 1, and the TL4 one by 2. So you can essentially have half your strength rounded down plus 2 if you buy the TL4 backpack of readied items.
Okay. Yeah. I already have a backpack purchased.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
It will. So I'll. And my encumbrance is right now 1.
I think your sniper rifle is like 2 encumbrance though. Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm probably the heaviest individual in the party.
You are.
Yeah.
It
Definitely.
actually doesn't say there, but I think it says on my spreadsheet that I made. I think it's 1 or 2. Oh, but if you're using it, like if you have it readied, it's 1 automatically. Never mind. Yeah, that's 1. So you also have that, plus your armor is encumbrance, right?
Yeah, that was one of my things. Yeah.
Yeah. And then any equipment that you are carrying with you, like the tents that you were talking about, the survey scanner is 1 encumbrance. Survival kits are 1 encumbrance. Again, don't worry about rations or any of that bullshit. I'm not gonna make you guys count on rations and shit. That's dumb. Or like ammunition, like you would ostensibly carry enough ammunition to get you through a mission. But maybe we'll start counting it if you guys get like trapped somewhere. We'll see how much everybody has on them. But we'll determine that when it gets to the time.
Okay.
But yeah, last patches each cost 1. Medkits each cost 2. Actually, they're 2 encumbrance. Boomer with your meta tool and all the other your other crap. You're heavy.
And I will take 3 Lazarus patches.
Yeah, cool.
That's one short of, that will cover us if the absolute worst happens.
Yeah.
3. Beyond that, there will be no one alive to help.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. In that event, I am gonna buy an Instapanel if I can find one.
Yeah, I think that would be something you could find.
Cool. Gonna take one of those.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
And that is about it for Oscar.
Go. Do you buy a missile launcher? A rocket launcher?
You're funny. You're real funny.
I'd like to get a wheat cutter belt.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'd actually just like to buy a grav tank, please, if I could. That'd be great.
I mean,
So-
would, but
So are we good to go then?
Yeah. Are you guys all stocked up on everything you need?
Yeah, I believe so.
Maybe. I'll just need to add these things to my character sheet now.
Yep, for sure. Go.
So
Did you actually want to buy anything, or are you still saving money?
no, I did buy. I bought a med kit and a combat,
The med kit and the combat. Yeah. You're right.
Mhm.
I'm wrong. Cool.
and that is it because I do want to save the rest of my money.
Yeah. So the next scene we get, your characters are all like we have the montage of like you guys buying stuff and bartering and loading up your backpacks and like stuffing your pockets and your cargo shorts or pants, whatever you're wearing. And we get a shot of you guys in orbit, and you've taken off, and so now you're sitting in orbit. Now, the plan is what, Boomer? I think you had a plan that you were going to express to the crew once you guys got into orbit and away from, anyone else. Which, I should mention as well, Giorgio actually elected to stay on planet. He is not going to go with you on this mission. But he probably has a scene with you guys, and it's probably Fortune. He probably looks at Fortune and he says, "Just so you know, that ship is still owned by Westwind. Don't get it blown up."
I'll see what we can do. We haven't blown anything up yet.
He's like, "Your families would not want to incur the debt that ship costs. I promise you."
Good luck finding my family. I don't even know where they are.
He says, "I thought your family was the Claris group."
Oh, well.
This is where you say, Giorgio, you're my family.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
So yeah, as he pales, we cut back to the ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So what's
so Boomer?
Boomer's...
Did you have a plan?
All right.
That's not
My plan is very simple. Obviously, we still work for Westwind. Why don't we try and make contact with the Shinobi aspect of the planet and see if they have any work for us. Then, while we perform any tasks or while we're looking for work, we can log into all their public works domains. Look at maps for roads, highways, business hubs, because all that should be open to the public for normal trade and business. We can get a lot of their infrastructure just simply that way. And then we can look at the other equipment that we purchased and start taking other readings.
Yeah, Oscar nods along to that. He says, yes, we should try and, even if we don't work for them in the end, we should give every appearance that this is on the up and up.
And, if given the opportunity and they do have a job for us, I don't see why we shouldn't work it, because we'd still be getting information, and if they did give us a job, we'd be using their own assets against them.
Yeah. As I'm slowly taking my Claris group badge off of my jacket.
Yeah.
Right. Just the Velcro sound.
Yeah. So before
so
this point,
now.
yeah, before this point, Oscar was going to suggest that they all leave their Westwind compads on the ship, but given this, they should probably all bring them.
Right. Yeah.
No, yep, absolutely have all of our Westwind credentials. Actually, as we're going through this conversation, Boomer's putting back on his Westwind clothes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you all were probably issued a uniform that none of you use, if that was something you wanted to wear.
I probably looked at it and said, well, this might come in handy if it gets cold.
Right, yeah.
Oh no, Margot's wearing her uniform, but it does not resemble that uniform much anymore.
Yep.
There are modifications.
Yeah, exactly.
The sleeve is ripped off on your cybernetic arm side, so it's just like, it's got that that fringe around it.
It's been dyed a completely different color. It's got all kinds of exactly.
It's got patches on it now.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
By this point, would I have heard back from any Claris group members?
You have not heard back from any Claris group members.
All right. So far the mission's a go.
Yep. But yes, you should have
Cool.
if somebody was on planet.
I should have if someone was here. I would
Yes,
have already
if that was the question you were asking, yes.
Yes.
If someone was in the open on planet, they would have contacted you
Okay.
by now.
Sounds good.
Cool. So you guys, so you have to wait the allotted hours because, as I said the first time, there is only during certain hours certain travel happens, right? Like
Right.
during the sunny side hours, like that's who's allowed to conduct trade during those hours. So you guys have to wait for the planet to rotate, basically. that like 12-hour gap, which is probably like you shopped and then you waited for some stuff and then you shopped and then you had to take into orbit. So it's pretty close by. But Oscar, you had something?
Oh no, I was just gonna ask for more details about like how we were going to approach like whatever entity about work. Like if Boomer had a plan for that, or if we were gonna be making cold calls when they asked us what our business was, which is probably also fine.
Right. So
No,
it wouldn't be uncommon for you guys to contact like the dockmaster, right? Or whoever that may be, the equivalent of the person that is controlling the space traffic, and be like, "Hey, we're from Westwind. We're looking for work," and you would be like assigned something like to go to X planet, because it's not like trade is or travel is embargoed on this. Like it's not blockaded. Like it's somewhat free, but it's going to be under high scrutiny for each side.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's just run with that then.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if asked, I mean, they have every possibility of coming up to us. It's like, hey, but we saw your ship actually touch down on the other side. It's like, yeah, but the other side just really screwed up a deal that we're on, so now we're kind of looking for work anywhere we can get it.
Yeah, seems totally legit to me.
I like it.
Cool. So you guys, you hail like you, it like there's a message that goes out and it says Shushu group ships cease activity at this time. Shinabi Alliance ships are cleared for planetary travel at this time. Like that message pops up on your comm screen. So you guys, fly in.
Methane powered ship.
Yeah, and your methane powered ship. So you guys cruise in, and you're hailed like as you approach the planet. And it seems to be like an automatic message. It's not something that like you're not speaking to an actual human. And it's kind of like what I can only describe as a questionnaire. And it pops up with like, it's basically asking you the type of questions that you would receive at a border crossing checkpoint. It's like, what is your reason for travel? Business, A, business, B, pleasure. And yeah, you guys can essentially go through the process, and from what I understand it, you're going to pose as, well, not pose really, because you are. You're going to go with the cover that you work for Westwind and you're looking for work, maybe making a delivery. You run, it asks like specifications, like when you click business, it says what type of business, and you say freighting, and it says what size ship do you have, and you say small, and then it has a couple of leading questions, and then it assigns you a docking port, and it says please travel to docking port 135, located in, and then like it's a human voice, like because the robot doesn't know how to say the word. New Penlong spaceport. Have a pleasant stay. And then it just closes out, and you receive like your docking code information and your location.
Okay.
So like you didn't even
Cool.
interact with a human, right? Like.
Yeah.
It was completely automated, so, like...
Maybe at that, Oscar just looks around and is like...
Yeah, I think everybody just kind of
It's-
looked up from wherever we were and like,
No,
well,
simple.
that was...
Weird to anybody else?
Yeah. It's, like, that's real weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
It was
know.
harder for us to get onto the planet we were supposed to be landing on.
Can I
With
justify...
an important person.
Yeah, can I make a perception check or anything? Like my spidey sense is tingling.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Literally,
like,
right? Because you're
Literally,
a bug, right?
literally.
Yeah.
Literally,
can I
Spidey
do-
senses tingling. Sure, what are you attempting... What information are you attempting to glean from this roll you were about to make? And that in order to make a roll, there must be a failure condition.
So, oh god.
For real. No, I'm just kidding.
right?
Okay,
Because
sure.
I'm not going to
No,
make you
no,
roll
no.
if there's no failure condition. Like, the failure condition is obviously either you don't have the information, or maybe you glean something different than what you're attempting to glean.
Okay, so similar to what we were discussing earlier with the ease with which we were permitted into the capital, Oscar is aware that there is global surveillance, and he is concerned that they are being allowed on planet just to be shot in the back of the head.
Okay, sure.
So he's concerned about this, but also I don't know, other than being on guard, what I could possibly justify to get from, like, could I do like culture spacer? Like, does this seem
so
really
I think
weird?
this is a culture roll, not like a perception or anything like that. And
Okay.
I think I'm going to make it traveler because it's planetary based, and that's what you rolled before to gain your information. And you can take a +1 because you rolled enough to before and you've been here before. You can take an additional bonus on it, but I think it's going to be a traveler roll because, like I said, it's related to this. This is a specific planetary thing, which might give you information that you require anyway. A 7's okay. You're not gonna like know all of the plans and secrets, right? Like, obviously there is some, and that's just how it works, right? Because you're dealing with government agencies. But both methods in which you entered the planet, either through the Shushu group or the Shihanabi Alliance, both methods were pretty standard. Like, an automated message just so they have a record of your ship coming and what it was coming for is totally something that happens, especially on, like, high traffic worlds.
Okay.
Where there's, like, hundreds of ships coming in at a time, and nobody's going to manually record that.
Cool. So this does not automatically set up. What this gets me is that
Correct.
I am not panicky,
right?
Because
the setup for it was. Now,
cool.
what you could probably deduce from character knowledge is you were told this was going to be like an infiltration, cloak and dagger type mission, but essentially they have just told you to walk in the front door. That could be the part where you're like, somebody has their information wrong, or maybe as you're going to land, something like there's another layer of security that we are not aware of yet.
Okay. Yeah.
One of those things you could deduce easily as a character.
Cool.
But the way in which you were introduced to land on the planet was not unheard of.
All right. So Oscar will just be vigilant.
Yeah.
I don't know that he will be any more or less, but he will be expecting further contact with people who are doing screening. Cool.
Right. Yeah, that is a very reasonable assumption. All
right. Yeah, he probably, since everyone was looking around and like, well, what the really? So with that, Oscar would say, they can't possibly keep tabs on every single ship that comes in and out. More likely than not, though, we will be contacted again later.
I'm just sitting with, like, hand hovering over pistol, like, just slightly nervous.
Spinning the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So
no, it's
you guys go and land, and
right.
I assume Boomer, you are doing Boomer-like things, yeah?
Absolutely correct.
Just in general? Okay, cool. Roll me a computers roll for me.
Sure, just give me 1 second.
And Go, I would like you to roll me a piloting space check, please.
Uh-oh.
He's coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't get to know what you're
Flames.
going to pilot space against just yet.
Should I be ready to put on a parachute or something?
We don't own any.
Yeah, you guys didn't buy the grav chutes in your shopping spree.
However, doesn't matter if Oscar falls out of the sky so long as entry velocity doesn't kill him.
Mm-hmm. As long as
If
you guys
Oscar
are,
doesn't, yeah. If
as long
he
as you guys
doesn't
are
burn
in
up the
atmosphere, you should be good.
Yeah. So
The rest
be
of you,
aware
though,
of that.
I mean,
I will keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Is this intelligence?
That may become a tactic later.
actually, no. It's going to be wisdom. Do a computer's roll based on wisdom.
Mine's Dex, right?
Yes, dexterity for sure. Actually, I think you get to choose on that roll. I think you get to choose Dex or Intelligence, but yeah, this one's going to be Dexterity. Ba, 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 ba. So, Boomer, you failed. But luckily, Go-Go saved you. So here's what happens.
Damn.
As you guys are entering into New Panlong, you fly over like a small kind of estuary that runs up, and you can see below you there is there's a large building of some sort, like a large industrial sized building as you're flying over, and this is like the approach vector that they've told you to take. And as you fly over it, Boomer, before you can actually like relay the message, you see it on your screen like pop up, but Go-Go has to deal with it with her check because you're not quick enough to relay the message. But you get a power surge, not coming from the ship, but specifically coming from like on the surface somewhere. And you see the power spike, and you like turn to Go-Go, but like the reverberation from whatever power spike just occurred, it hits the ship. And Go-Go, you like the ship rocks and tilts, and you get it under control fairly quickly. You rolled a 9, which is pretty good. So you get it under control fairly quickly. But as you guys fly past it, Boomer, you pull up like what the hell was that? And you look at it, and everything appears normal, but you can identify that it came from that industrial building. Whatever that power spike was, it came from that industrial building. But you're unsure as to what it is at this time.
Definitely flagging it as a point of interest.
Sure,
in my mind.
Absolutely. And then you guys go and you land on the spaceport with no harm.
Hooray! We didn't die in a ball of flame.
You definitely could have had issues, yes. Cool, and let me just go ahead and move you guys over to New Panlong. So New Panlong, as you can see, the spaceport where you landed at, that blue box is that industrial building that I was talking about. And then, like, you clearly, like, fly around the government complex. Like, it's very clear that this is the government complex. The difference between New Panlong and... I should say the contrast between New Panlong and... I forget. New Wuhan is stark. As you fly, there's it's like early morning in New Panlong because you guys jumped into the system right as the sun was basically cresting to cast light over it, and yeah, it's a stark contrast between the two, primarily because where in Wuhan there would be lots of lights and lots of like signs of civilization. New Panlong is very dark, save for a few specific areas, and it's actually why you're able to identify the governmental complex pretty easily, because it's all lit up. It's like a beacon, basically. And then you can see around these other areas, these kind of these fielded off areas here. All these places are lit too. You're a little too far out of range to like be able to spot them per se. But like spot exactly what they are, but those areas there with the white dots that you see, those appear to be lit. But everything in between there appears to be very, very dark. And yeah, you guys go land on the spaceport, which is lit as well. The spaceport is lit, and you're one of the first ships to arrive. And you can see as you like land, you can see that there's a queue of people, like a large like queue of people outside of the spaceport already, like early in the morning. And a lot of them appear to have like a lot of like baggage and stuff, like maybe travelers or something. And there's obviously like a pretty stringent like security checkpoint, like at any airport you go to, because this is a spaceport, like a legitimate spaceport. Basically the space TSA are manning that checkpoint.
Got it.
And yeah, you guys land. So what do you do?
Did we already go through our checkpoint?
No, you just landed the ship.
I guess.
Get in line for the check-in.
Yeah, so you guys disembark out of the ship, and you walk. You load up on all your gear. I assume you take like everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
I take everything up, list on my character sheet as needed. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So you guys walk up to the checkpoint, and you can see that the checkpoint is primarily entrance. And as you get closer, you can actually see that the guards themselves are armed, probably a little bit more severely than you would see our TSA armed in the U.S. A lot of them have combat rifles. Some of them are carrying submachine guns on them. And they're actually wearing, some of them are wearing, like, full combat field uniforms. It seems very militaristic. As in, maybe the spaceport is not...
So as we're looking around, can I make a tactics roll to determine... So you said it seems primarily in. Oscar would want immediately to determine how, if things went bad, they would get back to their ship.
Right. Yeah, sure. Make a tactics roll. You haven't really surveyed the scene in a long time, so it's going to be a little bit harder. Probably
whenever...
Yeah.
When I say immediately, what I mean is that's what he's going to put priority on doing.
Yeah, it's probably a difficulty 8, so it's not hard. Like, you can see, at least from your limited scope of things, like, what's going on. Yeah, no problem.
I think he gets it.
Yeah, so you see that the best way to probably get back in a hurry is going to be, probably over the walls. Because the walls actually surround the entire complex. The security checkpoint appears to be heavily armed, that the 4 of you, without Gogo's future rocket launcher, probably would have a problem getting through.
How high are the walls?
The walls are probably about 12 feet high. Certain places of it are basically just like what you would call chain link fence, but there are around like where the buildings butt up against the walls, they are like stone. So ostensibly going through like one of the buildings might be easier than trying to get over the fence undetected, but also then you have to enter like a building that probably has guards in it.
Okay. Well, with that, I think Oscar is satisfied that he has prepared for that contingency.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, the front entrance looks extremely heavily guarded, and also you kind of base that off of the traffic here. Like, it's not necessarily you guys couldn't take out all the guards, but if there's this many civilians here first thing in the morning, imagine when it actually gets busy. Like, you're going to be contending with, there's like, basically, if you imagine it, there's like 10 turnstiles for like a couple thousand people. Like, you're not necessarily going to be busting your way through really quickly through the front entrance.
Yeah.
And then who knows if somebody starts shooting, what the hell these civilians are going to do. Like, if chaos is your goal, yeah, go for it. But
yeah. Well, that could also be used to our advantage.
That could also be used to your advantage, yes. But it may hinder you just as much as it hinders everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
noted.
That's another option.
Cool.
As you guys are leaving, there is a short security checkpoint that says, ensure that you have gathered all your belongings from your vessel before departing this. No re-entry allowed. It's like a revolving steel door that has reinforced glass, like bullet reinforced glass. But then there's a gate just before that, and there is there's actually an armature sitting by the gate, like in a booth. And as you approach, the gate is still up. You guys can't get through it. But he the armature says, "Papers, please."
And do we have any papers? I guess.
I mean, yeah. When he says papers, he means
we have Westwind stuff.
He means identification, right? Like that's what he means. Yeah, so you guys go through.
Guys, we're already screwed now.
You pass over your identification. And they
on
click
our
on
Westwind compads.
Yeah, and you see it just it scans it. Bzz, 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 bzz. And then you see the armature say it inspects you guys, and some of you have visible weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it says weapon registration, please. It basically wants the serial number and make of your weapon.
I would say that's not uncommon. That's probably something I have on me.
No, yeah, you definitely have paperwork for your weapons for like most TL4 planets, and the reason typically is, let's say there's a murder in the city, they can then trace it back to you with your weapon and say, hey, it was this type of weapon. How many of those came through? Okay, there's a much shorter list than every fucking person in the city. That's generally what it's used for. Like, they can't identify like your specific serial number weapon fired the shot, but they can identify at least the make and model, and so that's what they're essentially asking for, is the make and model of all your weapons. So you guys, anybody have any like resistance to handing that information over?
Firm. I don't even know that Oscar would have a serial number on his.
Probably not, but cutting somebody up with a sword is probably beyond the scope of like what mostly happens all the time.
Right. So I think Oscar would not even offer it because it is
Oscar would just say like sword.
Right, yeah, you just say sword and like it writes sword next to your credential information.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, Oscar's sword was not purchased at Walmart. It was
exactly. So yeah, you guys hand over all that information, and you and once you do that, the gate goes up, and the revolving door you enter the revolving door, and you go through. And once you're on the other side, the door actually stops. Like it stops revolving once you're on the other side to like seal the area. So now you can see the mass of people that are standing outside the spaceport. And this is probably the first time you all realize that these are not like working folk. Almost every single person in this queue looks to be, well, I can only describe it as a refugee of some sort. They are just dirty and battered and broken people. You can tell that just by looking at them. Some of them have little more than rags on their backs. The old and the ill and the children are all seemingly just in this mass of decrepit humanity that exists outside of the spaceport. And probably you notice too, not a lot of people are being granted entry into the spaceport. There is a high level of you come up to the spaceport, you present your papers. If you don't have business, you're escorted like to the waiting line, and you have to basically go to the back of the line, and then that's how they kind of cycle people through the spaceport. It's a sight to behold if you've never seen anything quite like it, especially since with advanced technology, this type of thing shouldn't really be happening. Like, this is the type of thing that advanced technology has eliminated with hydroponics. Jesus, I couldn't say the word for a second. With hydroponics and like
housing,
refreshers and housing. Yeah. It's something that should not exist on a TL4 planet under any circumstances. But it does obviously exist here. And I think that you guys get out to the roadway, and you can see that the infrastructure outside of the spaceport now is in similar disarray. The roadway is clearly extremely torn up, hasn't probably been serviced in quite a while, but just looks like normal wear and tear from the elements. Nothing significant has occurred. It's just been abused and never repaired.
So this is basically the highway trip that anyone participating in the Brazil Olympics will experience.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Basically, that's exactly what's going on. This is essentially inside the spaceport is inside the stadium at the Brazil Olympics, and then outside is Brazil.
Yep.
That's basically what's going on. But yeah, that's essentially what you receive. So, what do you guys do when you get out there?
I guess we still haven't contacted somebody about trying to find work here, but we're already here, and is that really necessary anymore?
Right. Yeah, you really haven't been accosted.
So that's kind of what I present to the party. Maybe
kind of not loud enough that anyone else could hear that he's aware. But Oscar says we could just play dumb until we're contacted again.
I mean,
Jordan,
that seems to be the plan at this point.
Is there what?
Is there a network connection? Like,
You flip
is
open
there
your
network
compad?
access? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have a network connection here. At least not wirelessly. There's not even like an open signal for you to pick up.
Should we maybe try to find lodging within the city that maybe has some amenities? As in
Now, I should say, Boomer, like outside of the spaceport, there's like the dirty kind of rundown kiosks that are sitting there that, like, back in the good old days, back in TL3 land, you would go to and you would be like, hey, I want to order this, and then like it would call somebody for you.
You know what? I'm gonna go up to one of those kiosks.
Sure.
And I'm gonna see if there's like any of them have like maps of the local area or nearby cities, nearby towns, nearby things of interest, things of that nature.
I think that when you walk up to it, it has a "Welcome to New Panlong" screen. That's kind of, it might flicker like once or twice as you're walking up to it, but you tap on it and it like comes to life. And it has like 3 options in the middle of the screen. It says like transportation, lodging, and like probably like jobs. Is like, it has those 3 options. There's no other interface present on the screen.
Oh, tech level 3, Jesus.
Basically,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at lodging first.
Sure. So you click on lodging, and it comes up with like basically like a TripAdvisor list of like different hotels and places to stay. And from this screen, you can tell like the pictures look okay, and like there's a couple stars listed on them. But like if you look at like last updated was like 10 years ago on most of them.
Awesome. All right, making notes of their quote locations, unquote.
Yeah.
And looking at transportation.
So yeah, I think there is like one transportation service that's available, and it says, "Where would you like your driver to pick you up?" And then it gives you like a list of locations like close by, basically like bus stations. But this is obviously an individual vehicle that'll come pick you up.
Okay, go ahead and flag the driver to pick us up nearby.
Sure.
And then looking at the job section.
You open up the job section, and it says, "No new jobs. Come back at another time."
I think the group would see the very first sign of Boomer's frustration.
Yeah, in what form?
Just kind of like
why won't you let me do things?
Slowly massaging the temples on the side of his head
Sure.
with one hand, just like ah.
Yeah. Yep.
While Boomer's doing this, Margot's kind of like wandering slightly off from the group. Is there like maybe a refugee family or something just kind of nearby them, like just sitting there? Obviously,
there's about 2,000 of them standing in line.
I think Margot wants to go over and just kind of be like, "Hey, so what's going on here? Would they speak a language that I speak?"
Yeah, I think that at first, like the first couple of people you go up to speak. What languages do you speak? Maybe
Mandarin, Russian.
Yeah, so I think that what's hold on.
I think it's Russian here. Or at least
I think one of them speaks what you can identify as Cantonese. So it's garbled, like
Right.
the difference between
maybe enough.
Wait, Margot speaks Cantonese?
No, Margot speaks Mandarin.
Chinese. Mandarin.
I was not aware of that.
Yep. She is. She does. Yeah. So it's like speaking to somebody in, you know, like what us as English speakers would like imagine Spanglish or like
Deep
Italian.
South.
Yeah, or like
exactly,
deep
yeah.
South. Like you can catch phrases and like a couple words, but only like the common ones, like complex speech is not going to be something that you're going to be able to do here. You could look around though and
phrases does she catch then?
Yeah.
If she asks them what's going on.
So I think you ask them what's going on, like in Mandarin, and I think that you get a lot of like, spare credit, or like, do you have any food, or fresh water? They seem to be like ignoring your question and just asking you for stuff. Because you also like stand out dramatically, right?
Yeah, me in particular.
So I think that if you go over and like engage some of them, you're starting to draw like a little bit of a crowd. Like there's a couple people who are like, oh, somebody who isn't one of us is talking to us. So there's probably like 3 or 4, maybe 5 people like kind of like all asking you all at once, kind of like they're not like mob level, but they're like, do you have a spare credit, or credit to spare, or whatever they're saying. But yeah, they're like kind of ignoring your question and just wanting to get something from you.
I think at that, seeing that she's starting to draw attention, I think she would just kind of shake her head but kind of pretend like she doesn't understand them more so than like saying no. I think she's going to play off like she doesn't actually understand their dialect and just kind of say in her best way of saying it, just like, oh no, I don't speak Cantonese, or whatever she assumes that you speak, and then just kind of walk back to her party.
I think a lot of them are like they kind of look dejectedly. Like one of them like kind of like tilts his head and like narrows his eyes, like he's trying to understand what you're saying. But eventually they all give up. Clearly you're not going to. They can't peddle you.
So this whole time, as soon as Margot started to draw a crowd, Oscar has been like ready to diffuse a situation.
Right, yeah.
He's like in his head, he's just like, God fucking damn it.
Right. Am I really gonna have to kill 1,000 civilians today?
It's like we've been out of the spaceport for 5 freaking minutes.
Yeah. I don't really want to kill 1,000 civilians today.
Right.
But
we don't. This is just like the like the royals going through King's Landing is what.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
that's a good feel.
This could turn quickly.
Yep, that's a good feel for it. Cool. So somebody was doing something. Was it you? Did you have something, Fortune, that you were going to do?
No, no.
Okay.
I just wanted. I was saying we should try to find some lodging that had some amenities, like maybe internet connection or something. But I think that's being taken care of.
Yeah, Boomer is kicking it.
Meanwhile, Boomer's nose has begun to bleed.
Right.
He's eating the computer on the side, like, why won't you give me what I want?
Yeah. We just see. I think we see like Fortune and like and Oscar like stoically like kind of surveying the scene that Go-Go, and then we just like in the background but out of focus, we see Boomer like shaking the kiosk back and forth and like slamming it, like trying to get it to work and like ripping cables out, and yeah, I think that's probably what we see.
Why is this so stupid?
Right. Yeah.
Give me connection.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. So I think that a few minutes later, you guys hear what we all know and love as the typical taxi horn. It's just meep 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 meep, and it's coming from across the street. And you guys look, like you glance over there because it's the first noise besides like moaning refugees and Boomer's excavation of the innards of a kiosk.
The Roadrunner closing in on us fast.
Right. You see that sitting in like a car in like a yellow cab, basically that's all dirty and grungy, is a guy like an Asian guy, older, maybe like early 50s. He's got kind of like gray wispy hair. He's like, "You need ride?" He speaks English.
Oh, thank God it's not a Tier 3 automated system.
Right, yeah, no, it's like it's literally a yellow cab pulled up.
Oscar's already walking over.
Right, yeah. So you guys walk over.
Yeah.
And you all like load in, like, 3 in the back and 1 in the front. So you guys kind of crowded in there, and like all your equipment is in the back of the taxi, and the guy doesn't get out to like load it in. But he's like watching all of you with like kind of his mouth agape a little bit. And I assume just for story purposes, Oscar, you're totally in the front seat.
I don't know that I would fit in the back.
Right, exactly. Like you probably all look
like,
at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
his knees are probably already folded up to his shoulders.
Right. So this guy is just like he's like just staring at you. He hasn't said a word, but he's just like looking at you, and you're like, maybe you do like the turn towards him with your mask, and then like turn back towards the front, and then turn one more time towards him, and then turns back towards the front, and he's just like with his mouth slightly open, just like staring at you. And after you all get all loaded up,
sure. So I mean, to that, Oscar would just say, we need, and he would sigh and he'd say, what is the most respectable lodging close to here?
I think the guy, like, his eyes narrow, and he goes, "What you? How talk?"
I don't know that Oscar would understand what he was... Because the guy does the guy mean literally, like, how is he talking? Like,
yeah, he means literally, what are you and how are you talking?
You know what? Okay. So Jordan.
Yeah.
There are. So Oscar's been here before.
Yeah.
Does he know of any Sriek? Like
not anywhere near New Panlong
around here. So they're okay. So he can't play that card and go like.
No, it's quite possible this guy's literally never seen a Sriek before.
Sure.
Or even heard of one.
Okay, so there's not within driving distance.
No, not from New Panlong.
Anyone. Okay, so Oscar would say. Oscar would say that he is, in fact, an armature to avoid the question.
Sure.
And that he belongs to Boomer.
He's like, "You big robot! Where go?"
Humans require lodging.
Margot's laughing her ass off while all this is happening.
Yeah,
so we're clear.
I think the other 3 of us are just sitting in the back of the car.
Yeah, just laughing.
Boomer's actually going to lean forward a little bit.
Oscar just says, owner requires lodging.
Yes, and, master.
Yes. And he just waits to see what happens.
Good, I go now. And he just floors it. And, like, Boomer, if you're, like, leaning forward, like, you get slammed back in the seat a little bit. And, like, your knees probably come up and, like, almost hit you in the chin. And, like, everybody, like, the laughing, like, you have to catch your breath, Go-Go. Because, like, he just literally floors it, like, 0 to however fast his damn taxi can go. And
so it's a Tesla. It just, like, blinks into...
Basically, yeah.
0 to 60 in about 1.2 seconds.
And so, like, you guys can see, like, first of all, the road is shit, remember? Like, there's potholes and all this other stuff anywhere. But this guy driving is apparently has done this before. Because instead of just driving over them, he's actually just swerving back and forth, like, at a rapid pace. So, Go-Go, I assume you're in the middle, riding bitch, because you're the smallest. So, basically, what's happening is... you're just getting sandwiched by these 2 other guys, and then when he takes these turns, they'll, like, one turn he takes, Fortune slams into you and squishes you up against Boomer, and then he'll turn again, and you'll get thrown into Fortune, and Boomer will squish you into him, and it's a super uncomfortable ride. And, like, the whole time, the guy is just staring at Oscar as he's driving. Like, he's not even paying attention to the road. He's just... driving, and his, like, eyes are narrow the whole time, and then, like, he hits the brakes at, like, what is a red light, basically. It's basically got, like, it's not hologram, but it's like a sign that drops down as like a stop, and then like it flips up, and then it's like a go. It's basically like almost TL2 basically, but it's on stop, and you know the car screeches to a halt, and he looks and he goes,